Episode 7 of All Her Fault starts with a flashback to 6 years ago. Here we meet a pregnant Carrie, whose real name is Josephine Murphy. At the time, Josephine had a lot of hopes for a growing family with Kyle, and she used her mum's credit card to get some things ahead of the baby's birth. All she ever wanted was a healthy baby, Kyle, and a good life. She was ready to work whatever job necessary to make her dreams come true. In an effort to help, Kyle got into drugs and was caught. His arrest sent Josephine into a rage. For one, she was disappointed that Kyle was not going to be there for the kid, and unfortunately she also lost her child a few months later. Following the loss, Josephine was forced to go back and live with her mum, Irene. Irene was always condescending to her and never understood Josephine's condition. Every time Josephine tried to explain herself, Irene would call her crazy. After finding out that Josephine had taken a credit card under her name, she demanded that Josephine work to pay her back. Josephine didn't really care though. She got herself a job and set about clearing the debt, and after the death of her child, she felt numb, as if she were dead inside. We then circle back to 5 years after the loss of her child. By this time, Josephine is done paying her mum's debt and working with her dad. Rob agreed to let her tag along as he put pressure on a client after the latter paid to clear his debt. Over the next few days, Josephine finally came to understand her dad's real job as a loan shark. Soon Colin found himself on Rob's radar, and on that particular Easter, Rob took Josephine with him to shake Colin up. Now, Colin was at the ranch with the Irvines. Without even meeting Colin, Josephine had offered to pay off his loan. Part of her was hoping that doing a good deed would make her feel alive again, but Rob called her crazy and asked her to wait in the car while he talked to Colin. Josephine opted to take a walk in the fields, and that's where she met Milo. She felt an immediate connection to the boy when he explained why he named his favourite frog doll Mr. Chips. Milo told her that some words tasted like food in his mouth, and Josephine told Milo that it was the same for her and took his doll when he left it behind. After she met with Milo, Josephine started stalking the Irvines. Her mum got worried after she started buying children's stuff and they got into a fight. Josephine nearly choked her to death, and after that incident, Irene kicked Josephine out the house. By this time, Josephine was already getting ready to assimilate into her new character, Carrie. She got a job as a nanny with Jenny and lied that her mum died from cancer. She used her job as a nanny to get close to Milo through Anna. It was a lucky streak when Jenny got close to Marissa, and it helped her come up with the perfect plan to kidnap Milo by planning a fake play date. Before the kidnapping, Josephine visited Carl in prison. She apologised for not coming before and asked about his plans once he got out. She told him about her job as a nanny, and Carl worried that it must have been hard on her after losing their son. This is when Josephine roped him into the kidnapping job. However, Carl thought she was being delusional. He didn't want to go to jail again or take Milo from his family. With time, Josephine convinced him and shared the so-called perfect plan. Josephine convinced him that it was worth it, and Carl didn't want to lose her. Josephine managed to pull off the kidnapping successfully, and for a while Milo was excited about the vacation and the endless games. With time, he started asking about his mum and going home. Josephine didn't bank on this though, and Carl tried to convince her to do the right thing. Unfortunately, another problem arose when it came to getting Milo his passport. This is when Josephine called Rob. Now, Rob agreed to help, but mentally he was counting the dollars he could get from the Irvines. He was the original ransom caller who called Peter and ordered him to get the money ready. He hid the truth from Carl and Josephine. Now, after Carl's name became public, Rob sent Josephine and Milo to his motel. The plan was for Carl and Rob to meet them later after cleaning up the rental. Sadly, Rob turned on Carl and shot him when his back was turned. Meanwhile, in Rob's motel room, Josephine found a gun in Rob's closet. She decided to hide the gun somewhere else, and simultaneously Milo was concerned that his mum would miss his birthday. To calm him down, Josephine told him why birthdays are special. Later, Rob returned and lied that Carl bolted, and he asked Josephine to go and get Milo a birthday cake. After Josephine left, Rob asked Milo to hide in the bathroom as if they were playing a game. He asked Milo to be quiet because he was expecting a visitor. Shortly after, Josephine returned to the motel to find her dad dead and Milo gone. In her dad's pocket, she found Rob's phone. Now on the phone, the voice recorder was on and had caught what had transpired in the room. After listening to the recording, Josephine had taken the gun and gone for a swim in the ocean. Before jumping in, she saw news of Carl's death and everything hit her hard. Now in another flashback, we go back to the day she got discharged from the hospital with her son Noah. The story alternates between the accident and her first encounter with Milo. Now after the accident, Josephine woke up in the hospital and the nurse repeatedly mentioned that her son died in the crash. Josephine kept saying she heard her child cry, but they assumed it was trauma and confusion. They kept telling her that she was confusing Noah's cry with the cries of the second baby involved in the accident. We then jump to another flashback, this time when Josephine visited Carl in prison. She told Carl that Milo was their Noah, but he didn't believe her. However, after seeing Milo for the first time during the marathon, Carl saw similarities between Milo and his dad. Now presently, Josephine calmly sneaks into the Irvines' house and everyone is distracted by the argument between Colin and Marissa. No one notices Josephine as she makes her way into the living room. Simultaneously, Alcaraz calls Peter to ask if he is familiar with the woman called Josephine Murphy. Just then, Josephine, aka Carrie, pulls out her gun. Brian and Colin are the first to notice her and start panicking. The episode then ends with Carrie saying, "He is my son, you have my son." So this episode gives us a deeper look into who Carrie is and the motives behind her obsession with Milo. All her life, Josephine has felt misunderstood because of a neurodivergent condition she suffers from. Now Irene and Rob never took her condition seriously and instead they mocked and demeaned her. They all said she was crazy. After a while, Carl walked into her life at 16 and didn't demean her. They fell in love and she got pregnant, and to her the pregnancy marked a new, hopeful life in more ways than one. However, things came crashing down after Carl got arrested. Of course, the accident and the death of her baby sent her into a deep depression, and seeing Milo and learning they have a similar condition breathed new life into her. Well, that is what we thought until we found out about the accident. It seems there's more to Josephine's obsession with Milo than we initially thought. Is Milo her real son? How exactly is Peter related to Josephine? And why did Alcaraz specifically call him to ask about this? Knowing Peter and his affinity to making decisions for others, we can't help but wonder if he is involved with Josephine and if he killed Rob. I'm sure we'll find out the answers to this in the finale up next. Thanks for watching, and do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like or subscribe to the channel, your support is very much appreciated. I'm Greg Wheeler, and from all of us over here at The Review Geek, we'll see you on the next video.